That's right, Bob. Despite some violence and destruction by some of our angrier activists, we're seeing mostly peaceful protests.
Protesters are demanding that the police be abolished.
Well, Clint, these local activists want to abolish the police. They're claiming systematic oppression and want the U.S. system torn down.
What is going on? Things are so weird right now.
I know. Mrs. Calder gave us an assignment today about being activists for justice.
Isn't Mrs. Calder your math teacher?
Yeah, we learn math, but we spend a lot of time learning about the stuff they talk about in the news.
That's weird. Isn't math class supposed to be for math?
Why is everyone so angry? Are they burning a car? What does abolish even mean?
That's enough. Let's get to the bottom of this.
The app?
You got it. Abolitionist? Let's check this out. Hi, are you an abolitionist?
I am. My name is Frederick Douglass. Welcome to 1852.
Thanks. I recognize you from a picture in my U.S. history textbook. You have really cool hair. I'm Layla. That's my brother Leo.
We're trying to learn about activism and abolishing things. Can you help us?
Well, not to brag, but I'm the perfect guy for you to talk to. I'm the most famous activist in America, and I'm currently working on getting something abolished.
Abolish means to end, right? What are you wanting to get rid of?
I want slavery to end. At this time that you have come to visit, for half of the United States, it is okay for some people to own other people, make them work for many hours for no pay, and force them to do anything, anytime.
That's so unfair and horrible.
You're right. The sad fact is slavery has existed everywhere in the world for thousands of years. But it's especially disappointing here because America was founded on the idea of freedom. Yet so many black people are not free.
Are you a slave, Mr. Douglass?
I was, but not anymore. I was born a slave, and I was taken from my family at the age of 6.
That's just so terrible. How did you deal with that?
It was very hard, and I was often sad. But I taught myself to read and write, and like I always say, knowledge is the pathway from slavery to freedom. As a boy, I was regularly beaten. But when I was 21, I had had enough and escaped to the North, where slavery is against the law, and have never looked back. Today, I am a free American, fighting for all to be free.
How can there be slavery in America when the Founding Fathers said that all men are created equal?
Yeah, and I've heard that some of those founding fathers owned slaves. What about that?
Children, our founding fathers knew that slavery was evil and wrong, and they knew that it would do terrible harm to the nation. They wanted it to end, but their first priority was getting all 13 colonies to unite as one country. The southern colonies were dependent on slave labor, and they wouldn't have joined a union that had banned it.
Are you okay with that?
I'm certainly not okay with slavery, but the Founding Fathers made a compromise to achieve something great, the making of the United States. If they immediately outlawed slavery after winning independence, the southern colonies would have formed their own slave-owning country. Our founders created a system they thought would have slavery end gradually.
Well, we're here in 1852, and America's been around for about 75 years. You're still trying to get slavery abolished. It doesn't sound like the system the Founding Fathers set up is working.
On the contrary, all the northern states outlawed slavery by 1804, and buying slaves from Africa was outlawed for the whole country 4 years later.
What's taking the southern states so long to do what's right?
Great streams are not easily turned from channels worn deep in the course of ages.
Huh?
What I mean is, sometimes things are more complicated than they might seem, and complicated problems take time to solve.
When I have a complicated math problem, if I rush to solve it, I make mistakes.
Leo, ending slavery is such a bigger deal than your math problems.
It certainly is, Layla. Along with independence and democracy, it's probably America's biggest deal. There was no real movement anywhere in the world to abolish slavery before the American founding. Slavery was part of life all over the world. It was America that began the conversation to end it. But Leo is correct that big problems need to be approached very carefully. Have you kids heard of William Lloyd Garrison?
No.
Nope.
He's an abolitionist like me, and he and I used to be friends, but we aren't any longer. We don't agree how to solve problems. William refuses all compromises, demands immediate change, and if he doesn't get what he wants, he likes to set things on fire.
Sounds familiar.
Sounds like you know the type.
Yeah, we've got that type in our time.
So, you're trying to work for change inside of the American system.
Precisely, Layla. Our system is wonderful, and the Constitution is a glorious liberty document. We just need to convince enough Americans to be true to it.
And people like Garrison don't just want slavery abolished, but the whole American system?
You are correct. His approach is called radical. That means a complete fundamental change of everything.
That seems silly. There are so many amazing things about America.
Well, your way is definitely better. It's the right way to get change.
I think so. But how are you so sure?
Spoiler alert, in our time, you're considered an American hero, and that other guy isn't really known.
And double spoiler alert. Also in our time, all Americans are equally protected under the law and have equal voting rights regardless of race.
Does America have the same constitution in your time as the one here in 1852?
We sure do. Same one, but with some changes called amendments.
I knew the U.S. Constitution would survive and allow for positive change.
We even had a black president.
2 terms.
So, Mr. Douglass, do you think we should be activists, just not radical ones?
Layla, your America where people are free and everyone is equal under the law sounds pretty great. But no place is perfect. So it's good to listen to activists who want to improve things. But they have to be willing to work inside our system. And they have to understand that change usually requires patience and compromise. Then you might want to join their cause. But if they are radicals like Garrison, you and your brother will be best served to stay away.
I think I'm just gonna worry about surviving middle school for now.
That sounds wonderful. And you, Leo?
I'm just gonna worry about being a kid. If you're interested in time traveling again, please subscribe to watch more of our adventures. And be sure to download the free PragerU app today.